allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are again truly grateful for the day of life that you've given to each of us. Grateful for your watching care over us and providing for us, for taking care of us and loving us despite our faults towards you. And I ask you, Lord, that you remember those in our community who are sick, who need your touch. I pray, Lord, for healing according to your will. Bless those who grieve because of the passing of loved ones, and I pray, Lord, that your Spirit to comfort their hearts. Lord, I ask this time as we meet that you give us direction, help us, Lord, to make wise decisions. For we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, roll call. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderwoman Dorey.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Here.
Alderman McCoy.
Present.
Alderman Probst. Now, quorum, Mayor.
Okay. Before you have two sets of minutes, one from our regular meeting and one from the special meeting where we amended our budget. They didn't have time to do the last meeting, have that, but those are before you. Can I get a motion to approve these previous two meetings?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Dorey. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Betts. All in favor? Okay. All right. Number one on the agenda, we're going to have Ms. Deborah Moak, our CPA. She's going to give us a financial update.
Okay, the balance sheet as of May 31st, 2018 indicates that the cash balance is fund-wide.
Put it up.
It's not coming on. These batteries. Okay. Anyway, the cash balance is fund-wide is $2.9 million, and that includes $1.8 million in the hydro checking account. We also have in the hydro reserve $2.3 million. In the Muni Debt Service Reserve account, we are building that reserve up. It's got $180,000 in there. It's the USDA requires the reserve to be at $190 at the end of June for our the debt that we have on the complex. The accounts receivable is $3 million. Of that, $2 million is in the utility fund, and $817,000 is from Project Blue. We have government receivables of $1 million, and this is for the port construction invoice, which we also have that in accounts payable for the work that was done in the month of May. The hydro royalties receivable are at $2.9 million at the end of May. Accounts payable is at $3.3 million, which includes $990,000 for power purchases in the hydro account, and $1 million of the port invoice that we should have a receivable for to offset that. On the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the 11 months ended May 31st, 2018, in the general fund, you have actual year-to-date fund revenue of $2.4 million and actual year-to-date fund expense of $8.4 million. The net profit before transfers is $6 million deficit with transfers in of $6.3. You have a net change in fund balance of $422,000. In the special revenue fund, you have actual year-to-date fund revenue of $15 million. You have actual year-to-date fund expense of $10 million. The net profit before transfers is $5.4 million. Transfers out are $6 million, and the net change in the fund balance in the special revenue fund is $680,978 deficit. In the enterprise fund, we have $11 million year-to-date fund revenue, actual year-to-date fund expense of $8.6 million, for a net profit before transfers of $2.6 million. Transfers out are $1.2 million, which leaves a net change in fund balance of $1,048,000. In the capital fund, we have revenues of $2.7, year-to-date fund expense of 2.6, for a net profit before transfers of 99,000, transfers in of 355,000, for a net change in fund balance of 454,000 positive. The debt service, we have year-to-date fund expense of 589,000, transfers in of 1,002,000, for a net change in fund balance of 413,000. The net change in net assets government-wide is 1.6 million. In the budget to actual summary by fund type, we should be at 92%. The general fund revenues are at 94% and expenditures are at 89%. Special revenue funds revenues are at 91% and expenditures are at 93%. Debt service fund expenditures are at 17 due to, expenditure is 17%. Capital fund revenues are at 36% due to the sale of the Fruit of the Loom building not happening until June. And expenditures at 74%, but this will catch up in June. Enterprise fund revenues are at 91% and expenditures at 87%. Total fund-wide revenues at 81% and expenditures at 82%. So what this is saying is that we're right on target with our projection. In addition, the amended budget is being compared to the actual year-to-date through May 31st in detail by department and indicates the estimated percent remaining to meet the projection of the $2.4 million surplus government-wide at the end of June. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Okay, number 2, we have occupational license. The first one we have is Tamika Andrews. Are they here now?
Yes.
Tamika, would you like to tell us about your business?
Yes, I would. I wrote something, so I would like to read it. Our mission at our Her Dance Company is to provide students of all levels with more than just dance classes, but the unique experience in which the student can grow both mentally and physically as a dancer in person. Our instructors have a wealth of experience in teaching and performing various styles and disciplines. Our main objective is to capture the heart of kids, teens, and adults through performing arts. With a welcoming environment and professional educators, we bring a foundation of discipline, confidence, and work ethics to our students. We encourage our students to communicate the art of performance through mind, body, and soul. We're excited to provide a positive platform that affects our community, family, and self. We're currently working on a mentorship program that will provide professional socialization and personal support to facilitate success in our youth and our community.
Is your name Tamika or Tamika?
It's Tanika.
Okay. All right, any questions from the council? Okay, our motion we accept her. Did you have a sign? Are you going to be putting the sign up at your place when you be erecting the sign?
We put up a window sign, but not a building sign just yet.
All right, just come by and we'll be glad to help you with filling out an application on it to get us, your sign application, okay?
Okay, great.
All right. Okay, here a motion we accept this item. Motion made by Alderman Garner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman McCoy. All in favor? Okay, thank you, Tamika.
Thank you.
Okay, next we do have a sign, outdoor sign application. It will be, the applicant is Gator Sign Company, and they're going to be, looks like for the business is going to be Encompass Health and Hospice. And they have pictures of it there in your packet. Anybody got any questions?
I make the motion we accept.
Okay, the motion made by Alderman Joy, do we hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Garner, all in favor? Yeah. All right, departmental assignments for the board for this upcoming fiscal year. I'm recommending Alderman Betts over the police department, Alderman Dore over City Hall, Alderman Probst over Street Department, Alderman McCoy over Utility, and Alderman Gardner over Fire. Okay. Item number 5 is we need a resolution appointing the mayor pro temp. It's the board's pleasure. We can leave it. Alderman Probst is currently serving as pro temp, and it's the board's pleasure. They select their own pro temp. if they want that to continue, or they want to make recommendations, or for anybody else.
I make a recommendation that we change it to John Betts.
Okay? Have a motion for John. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Alderman Probst. Okay. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor, let's do it by roll call.
Motion before is to appoint
John
Alderman Betts
as
as mayor.
pro tem.
Alderman Betts,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dorey,
4,
Alderman Gardner,
4.
Alderman McCoy,
4.
Alderman Probst. Motion carried.
Okay. Item number 6, we have the board resolution accepting the engagement letter from Silas Simmons for the audit of the town finances for fiscal year ending June 30th of 2018. Any questions or motions?
I do have a question. One of the things in the legislative auditor's report was a recommendation that jobs such as these go through the bidding process. Was that completed?
That's not, as an auditor, that's an appointment and with approval of the boards.
Okay. So you didn't send it out for bids?
No, it's the same way with attorney. I mean, they submit a rate, and they work from that.
What is that rate?
Last year, their total was 54,000. That's what it came in. It depends on their hourly time that they spend on it, which they spend, I think last time it was almost 2 months. They're actually in-house with staff on the ground in there working all day, going through detail.
Now, to that end, have we received monies from Project Blue?
It will be an announcement soon on Project Blue.
The budget, the amended budget was passed assuming that we would receive funds from Project Blue. So before we send this out for audit, don't you think that we should receive those funds?
It's not been booked, so it's in the budget, but it's not happened yet. in the,
Okay.
But the audit has nothing to
not
do
in
with
the-
Project Blue. I mean, as far as that, I mean, the audit's gonna be, I mean, on.
Yeah, we'll do all that.
I mean,
Have we received?
I have not seen.
we
it.
have not received money. There will be an announcement, and LED has informed us that there will be an announcement and full disclosure on everything. The announcement's coming soon. That's what we've been instructed, so.
Okay, on 28, when that, everything was closed to deal with building project, the check was supposed to be in hand. At this point, we still do not have a check for project.
We do not have a check, but there will be an announcement. LED will be making an announcement very soon, and we'll get a full disclosure.
Let me ask you on the money that they owe, are we gaining interest on that every day?
No, we're accumulating what's owed.
But are we gaining interest on the money that's owed?
The interest is not being charged.
What? We're paying interest for a loan that we got out there that is due every month. Now, why are we not charging them interest for the money they owe us? What is it, 1.5, 1.6?
Well, I mean, if you want, that might not necessarily be when we borrow the money, though.
But it doesn't matter, they should be paying interest on owed money
They will be
to
paying,
us
they will be paying their owed monies. They will be paying.
without interest.
Without interest, to the tune of right at.
That should have been negotiated if it wasn't done, in my opinion, just like any other deal, that the interest should be paid, if not paid at certain times. But it wasn't, right?
We have on the table, board resolution accepting engagement letter from Silas Simmons. That's a different issue.
Okay, well then,
Motion
Okay. Motion made by Alderman Best, do I hear a second?
I'll say it.
Okay, second made by Alderman Probst, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Was that unanimous?
Pardon?
What just happened?
I just didn't catch the vote.
All in favor?
Who made a motion?
All
The
in
letter,
favor?
I second.
Any second?
And
All
we
in favor?
engaged.
Yeah, let's do a roll call.
Okay, roll call.
The motion to accept the engagement letter from Silas Simmons to Alderman Betts,
4.
Alderwoman Dorey,
4.
Alderman Gardner,
4.
Alderman McCoy, Alderman Probst.
Oh,
Okay. Number 7.
back to my question, if I could.
Number 7 is next.
Okay, I would like to address that or get an opportunity to address that question I never got an answer for a minute ago. And why? Why would we not look at it?
Well, I told you we did. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good enough.
Okay.
Good enough.
All right, let's move on to number 7. All right, this is for information comments. We have on available here at City Hall, if anybody wants a copy of the legislative audit report that came out last Monday, it is available. We will print you one if you like it, and just give us time to put it together. But it is available online on your phone if you hook up to the internet. Okay, in this report, we had our response. Alderman Probst had a chance to review it along with staff, and they had a chance to make comments. They reserved to go ahead and go with the comments that staff has made that we did as far as responding to their request. I will say that the way I want to do this is, rather than getting into the discussion of the actual report tonight, there's been some requests by the legislative auditor for us to get some AG opinions as well as consulting with legal opinions, which we've already done. We've met, we're talking with legal and also constructing letters to the AGs to get an opinion on a couple of the items that's within that. And what my plan is to give everybody time to look at this and read it online, and then we will have a special meeting and devote a total meeting to every item on this thing I think needs to be addressed. Most of these things have been addressed, but until we get to where we have our part back from the Attorney General and also their opinion and also the legal response that we need from our attorney, I feel like to go into a discussion and start a lot of accusations or things, we need to get the legal opinion first. And I'm going to shoot to have this done by next month for sure. Maybe even at our next council meeting. So that's how I would like to do that. I mean, I'll take some questions on why we're going to do that, but I think to go into the actual line item thing of this report tonight, when some of the main questions that need to be answered, we still haven't got, we're going to require some response from attorney's work and some attorney letters. So I'll be glad to hear a response from the alderman tonight in reference to that.
Well, does that mean that you don't have any discussion from the floor?
Well, I'm just asking what the council wants to do, Ray. I'm asking them if they want to go into discuss, I just feel like we would be putting some things out there that we need to get, a legal opinion on. They've requested us to give some attorney general opinions, and we've already consulted with council. We're going to formulate letters. Hopefully they'll go out this week to them, and also there's some things that we got to address on that. Like I said, most of the procedural things that's in this, the town's already done. We've instituted, the only thing we've got some things to do is adopt our ordinance, and those are some requests that's in here as well that we've got to do. So
My only question is that you put it on the agenda and advertise it to be discussed tonight. It would seem appropriate to me that you allow some public discussion of it, that you may add to whatever your legal advice is or other advice that you might get. I'm wondering how you can put it on the agenda and advertise it so and then not do it.
Well, I mean, we put it on the agenda for, I've just discussed with how we want to handle it. I mean, and I just asked if the council wants to handle it different, I'm listening. So,
I make the motion that we open for public comment.
okay, motion made by Alderman Betts, open up for public comment.
Go right.
Alderman Dorey. Second by Alderman McCoy, all in favor? Okay, all right. Any comments? Okay.
I have some concerns about the secrecy of Project Blue at this point in time after.
Excuse me, that's nothing in this audit about.
I believe it does.
No.
I believe that the audit does reference that you need to do things relative to the local government budgeting act. And this is an item that should have been budgeted, was budgeted, and now you have no idea what the outcome is.
I do have an idea, Ray, but I've been told that it will be announced, okay? So now, all I can tell you is if we're violating anything to do with any of our budgets, we have a CPA on staff and we have an independent auditor that comes in and spends countless hours with plenty of staff crawling all of our books. I promise you, if we're doing something not right by budget-wise, they'll write us up, okay? So I appreciate your concern, I really do. But that's where we're at, okay? So the Project Blue is not even, when they came and did this, Project Blue was not even a thought. Well, excuse me, it was, but it was nothing to do with this, okay?
Well, I would like to counter your thought there with the fact that you guys, all of you, are the stewards of our money. And Project Blue is a biggie. It's a real biggie.
It sure is, will be great.
And yet we have no information from you guys, one way or the other. I suspect that the aldermen don't even know what's going on. We have been promised some answer repeatedly, and the date set further and further out. We still don't have the answer.
I thought they put an article in the paper, didn't they?
Pardon me?
Didn't they put an article in the paper?
Yes, they did.
What did this article say?
What talked about Project Blue?
It didn't give us any information.
Well,
We
I
want
think
to
they
know
told all
what-
that they knew.
I want to know what the financial aspects of this thing is.
The financial aspects are gonna be great, Ray. I'm telling you, just after the announcement, we'll get full disclosure, okay?
We will get full
That's,
disclosure.
yes, sir, you will.
You have stated that multiple times in the past. I want to know.
Okay. Well, I'm
It
telling
would
you where
seem,
I'm at.
it would seem if you have a deed in your hand,
Or,
if you have a deed in your hand, you do plan to, put it in the public record, and yet we don't know anything. We still don't know anything.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you, I appreciate your comments. All right, any other comments? Yes, sir.
I just like to say, my 2 bits worth, I think Project Blue is going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to close on time. It does take time to put all this together. It's going to mean 100, 200, 300 jobs for the town of a day. It's going to be a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Since we're discussing Project Blue, I still haven't gotten an answer to the question I asked at the last meeting about the concessions that we're giving and who authorized these concessions, because I've been in a lot of meetings and I haven't heard anybody discuss concessions of $487,500.
That's not, they're gonna pay that, Ms. Rob. That's gonna be paid.
But doesn't a concession mean, and we've got an email from Ms. Smoke saying that is a concession, that we will not be making them pay that.
I'm sorry, your information's wrong.
Okay, so they will be paying all
They will.
that's owed on the lease?
They will be.
And all that's owed on the
Yes, ma'am,
utilities?
with no interest.
With no
Okay.
interest?
May I say something?
All right, go ahead.
We will get the money back, and the board voted not to pay the loan to the state, if we remember correctly, and you said, Mr. Pro, that not paying $30,000 worth of interest on it. Now you're worried about just a little bit of
Because
interest.
they could pay us interest, we could be paying them.
But you kept paying on the note that you could have paid it beforehand, if you remember.
We could, but that's not what we do. We didn't choose not to pay the interest that they should be paying us. Nobody gets money for millions of dollars and don't pay interest on it. That's
Okay,
crazy.
let me go ahead. We have.
So don't point at me, Bill, and say that I said it. There was more than just me. You started, okay?
Hey, let's, look, here's the deal. When you're dealing with a company, and you've got an economic development director who's been doing a good job with this, and there's times when you're getting negotiation, I tell you what, There's a lot of towns out there wish they could have this coming here. There are buildings like we got through the loom that are sitting empty that, you know what? If you don't work with them and get them, they will go somewhere else. So we're making a concerted effort to do our job, to get these people in here. So sometimes you do make concessions. What they owe us, they're going to pay us. So when you say a concession, if we get us somewhere, we're negotiating, this is a company that's going to employ 300 people. Their utility, our net profit off the utilities are going to be over $1 million a year.
If they close.
Huh?
If they
Oh,
close,
well,
but
okay,
they
yeah,
haven't closed.
okay, that's, next, anybody else? If they don't close, y'all can throw mud at me, okay?
I don't want to throw mud at anybody.
If they
I
don't
just
close,
want to
then-
stop putting the burden on the citizens of Vidalia.
Okay.
Because that's really who's paying the insurance, the electric, covering the cost of whatever we're not getting for the lease. We're not getting that money.
We are getting it. Did you
We
hear what I'm
haven't
saying?
gotten it
Huh?
until I see a check in
Okay.
hand.
All
Well,
right.
what was you getting before?
Huh?
It costs the same way.
I mean, you need to work with these people as hard as you can.
But at what point
If you
do
want
think
Vidalia
that
to
they're
grow, they're
not-
trying to grow Vidalia with 300 jobs. And if it means forking a little interest or whatever, we need to
Years.
get those jobs in.
I agree.
But it's been over a year.
Buzz, you have a contract, do you not, with these people to lease the building for $50-something thousand a month?
Obligation.
Are they paying that? Have they paid that?
Aren't you obligated by law
And
to collect
it's
that?
lasted a year or so. You are actually not charging, not collecting your rent, so they're in arrears.
We're going to collect the monies, okay?
What amount of money will you collect?
The amount that's owed, okay?
The amount what?
The amount that is owed, the amount that they owe.
What is the
they're
amount
paying.
that is owed?
Yes, they're gonna pay $450 closing. And I think that the new agreement is $489,000. They will pay in annual installments of $80,000 or $90,000 a month, okay? But again, this has nothing to do with where we are on the comment period of the legislative audit report. So let's get
The
back to that.
legislative auditor's report, the advisor report, has to do with your budget. And therefore, this item has been budgeted, or it will be budgeted, or whatever. It's something that's important that you need to let the people in on what's happening here. If you had a $50-something thousand lease going on for 13, 18 months, or however how long it is, that's a lot more than $450,000.
After the announcement comes this evening, I'll be glad to discuss it. I will tell you everything and how it progressed, okay?
Pardon me now?
I said, and I will explain it to you why it progressed the way it did. I'll be glad to explain the whole process, okay? I'll tell you about the countless hours of meetings with government agencies, the company, everybody involved to make this happen. And the things that we had to overcome. You don't close a loan like this in a year. I'm sorry. It takes longer than that to do these things. Again, let's get back to the legislative body.
The aspect of secrecy, though, why would a legitimate transaction require any kind of secrecy?
Because there's confidentiality reports, Ray, that I signed that I said I would do, okay? And we're under confidentiality reports.
We're also under a contract to get money.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to y'all wanted to discuss, comment on the legislative audit report. So,
I make a motion to close public hearing.
Well, wait a minute. No. I have some more. I want to know why I have not been invited to these traveling forums that's been going on in this city I've been hearing about. Have any of y'all been invited? Deborah, have you been invited to these meetings? Anybody else? I want to know. I just want to know.
Look, I think we're going to have a meeting to discuss all that. So a motion's on the floor, and we're going to discuss all this in detail when we get all our information.
Okay, good.
All right, motion made by Alderman Doherty to close public comment. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Pruitt. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion?
No. I have a couple questions. Do we have the written policies and procedures manual? Is that completed and in place?
It's completed, and we have reviewed it, and we are going to probably meet with a couple of the aldermen for review, and you can get a copy of it as well, and be adopted. So it is, it is ready now.
It's ready but not in place at this time?
Right.
Okay. One of the things that was in the legislative audit report was a discussion about the convention center.
Okay.
And I know that in a meeting that we had, you discussed closing the convention center and retaining 2 of the employees. Is that something that you have decided to do, or did you do the recommended work made by the legislative auditor?
Okay, that's a good point. We had several discussions on a lot of options, on a lot of things to do. Things that we could do to maybe save money, okay? And one of those things we discussed, we said, it's an option to close it, an option to lay people off, all these things, they were discussed, as was a lot of things to cut costs. And after we did, cut costs in the budget we presented the other day, there's also people that, the aldermen said they didn't want to see anybody take a pay cut, they didn't want to see anybody lose their job. If we could do something to present a good budget that accomplished that, would we do that? And we did, and that's what we presented. So at this time, we especially we left it alone, because we feel like one of the things that's not fair, I feel like, to the convention center is that we took it from our first year from $1.3 million in loss, we cut it down to right at $400,000, nearly $1 million we saved our first year. We're cutting it even more on this new budget, and we're not even taking into account the occupancy tax that Mr. Jackson's hotels having to pay, or the new hotel's going to pay, that might offset some of that even. So, that'll be a decision that I feel like that we should wait until everything is operational and going to see if that will be something that we need to address in the next budget, but not this year, until we get all these things in place.
Did you do the evaluation, the cash flow projections, and all of that on page 21 of the legislative audit?
You're talking about the convention center?
Yes, sir.
It's done in the budget. We look at it.
Okay, so you have completed that. That was my question.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was in the budget we presented this last meeting.
And
But
have
also taking into consideration the money that's being put up by the occupancy tax that should help offset that. Look at it. So.
And the new revenue for the lease of the former travel agency or tourist information center, that's in there as well, isn't it?
I don't think we have that income in there yet. Did we? There, we didn't put that income yet.
Okay. Because that should help too. What about the FEMA public assistance reimbursements? Have y'all?
Yeah, we are on track with that.
Y'all are? Okay.
It's not a very easy process, and it doesn't come. And some of that we have, that we show outstanding, we probably won't get.
That's another example, how long it takes the government to work. This is something that's been, how long? It's been almost 2 years. I mean, some of it.
But it wasn't, the report stated that,
Right.
that it wasn't being collected.
That was kind of misleading, because it's not really what I understood it to mean. Brian Hammond and Associates, they're the ones that go online to follow up on that, and I follow up with them, so it's not like I'm directly getting online to check it myself. I do go through them indirectly, so.
We pushed them very hard on all those things, trying to get payments from them on everything, so I promise you that.
But you did say that we're gonna have an in-depth meeting to go over
Indefinitely, I would
this.
like to do that, and I'd like to advertise it and invite all the public. I mean, I think we've done a lot of good work on some of the recommendations that they requested. Even though it shows that the scope of this thing went up until this past, end of the day, really most of this work was within the first 3 to 6 months we come in office. And the rest of it was just follow-up documentation. Now, I don't know why it took 2 years. I can only think that it might be because of litigation or talking different back and forth. And I think both of the attorneys here tonight, but I think there's probably some back and forth discussion between them. We haven't been privy to or any of that. So, so we'll just. I figured maybe that was some of the delays. They didn't tell us what the delays were, other than it was very time consuming and they jump off on other things, you know, that's what took the time.
And where are we in your proposal of the fiscal budget based on the request made by the board?
Well, we looked at it tonight, but we didn't have time to do all the advertising and public notice. So quick as we can, you know, endeavor to get all these, being bombarded with not only just year-end stuff to getting ready for the audit. She's also put together the financials and for this meeting. So putting those things together. She's also been talking to Elizabeth on getting those projections. We're trying to get what might be projected on the royalty payments on the hydro. We want to get as good a number on that as we can.
And do you have an idea of when you're planning to set the required hydro meetings?
The hydro meeting,
Uh-huh.
I think last year, we had it in September or August last year?
August.
August, well, then we'll have it.
Then we'll have it in August.
I'd like to make that almost a set time to do that, so when you have everything completed, whatever. Oh, yeah. Anybody else? Tom? On the guard? On the bets? On the floor? Your motion with adjourn? Motion made by all the board. Second.